Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Pokemon Unite video. Today, we will be taking a very similar approach to what we did last week, where we'll look a little bit at a character, talk about some of their strengths and weaknesses, and then, of course, go through a ranked game battle with them as well. Now, I didn't switch the profile this time around, but that's fine because we'll jump into the character here in just a brief moment. And that is Venusaur. Now, Venusaur this past week got a couple of buffs and adjustments to his kit, so I feel like he works a little bit better than he did before, and he has the offensive tank build as a general strategy. So let's have a look at some of the moves that he has so you can get a bit of a better feel as to what works best with this character. So his first ability, the base one, starts off with the Seed Bomb, where this is a large seed that will deal an explosive area of effect damage around a targeted opponent. So it primarily focuses on one character, but it can affect multiple upon landing. But at some point down the line, this move will be replaced by either Sludge Bomb or Giga Drain, and you can pick which one at level 5. The default is Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Bomb is a decent ability because it will decrease your opponent's special defense as well as give them some damage over time as well. And there are a couple of characters, or mainly the Gengar line of characters has this Sludge Bomb type ability, and with them it works a lot better than it does for Venusaur, in my opinion, because I find that there's a little bit more benefit in the Giga Drain ability because it allows you to further your survivability in the middle of a match. While you're being chiseled down by an opponent, you can absorb health back from them, and that's really going to help you in terms of your sustainability. And if you really want to lean into that further, you can go with a Shell Bell loadout as well as having a potion as your item on rotation as well. Now, I personally prefer Giga Drain, but that's probably just my playstyle where I don't like to take as many risks when I'm playing, and I don't like getting knocked out as frequently because, I mean, I want to keep playing the game, and when you have those longer cooldowns towards the ends of rounds, it really kind of puts a damper on things. So that's my recommendation for this first ability. And the second ability is interesting as well. So it starts off with Razor Leaf, which is a really good ability because it has a lot of range and it goes out in a direction directly in front of the character and has multiple sequential hits over that time frame. So I generally opt for using Razor Leaf first right off the start of the battle and then pivoting over to picking up Seed Bomb after the fact as well. But once you get to level 7, you can opt for either Solar Beam or Petal Dance. And Solar Beam does have the smaller cooldown, and it is an auto-set ability. However, I don't really like this one because though it boasts a lot of damage in a quick burst, it also is a telegraphed attack. So if somebody sees the initial tracking beam of that ability going out, then they can move out of the way, and that's going to sap away a lot of your damage. Instead, what I really like to opt for here is the area of effect, the Petal Dance, because yes, it has a longer cooldown, but it will also have a couple of seconds duration, which goes on independent of the recharge of the Petal Dance, and it's more proximal to Venusaur's character more directly. But again, if you're finding yourself in the middle of a fight and having those petals swirling around you and dealing some constant damage, I feel like that opts for the better benefit. It also discourages the melee opponents from coming up and attacking into you a bit more directly, and it can also circumvent a couple of items such as the Rocky Helmet or opponents that have the Rough Skin ability. And of course, this area of effect gets increased upon being upgraded rather than having the move cooldown, but that doesn't make a whole lot of difference again because it has a decent duration which runs concurrent to the ability cooldown. So if you really want to take my opinion on this character, I think that the optimal loadout is opting for Giga Drain and Petal Dance. Now, the Unite move is a large concussive blast that will auto-tone onto your opponents, in the immediate area, and the Verdant Anger it's decently strong and charges as quick as any other Unite ability in the game. And this one really helps for some explosive fight closing, and I like the fact that it automatically targets an opponent because there are other abilities that rely on either proximity or you need to be very aware of the direction that you're unleashing the ability. For example, I know for a fact that, what's the name of it? Garchomp. The Garchomp has an ability that requires you to aim the direction of the ability, and it is a lot more powerful when and if it lands, but it can be at a bit of a detriment. Now, Venusaur also has some additional perks in the term of Overgrow, where when he is at lower health, his attacks will deal more damage, and that is always a good thing to see. And then his attacks have a decent amount of range to them, where he will either lash out with his vines at close proximity or throw out a couple of individual Razor Leaf type launches attacks if the character is a little bit more distant, and those actually home on to the opponents even outside of your range if they move faster than you, so you can keep that in mind as well. And then that third attack of his basic attack sequence is a Vine Whip that will reach a little bit further, as well as pull the opponent in to help discourage some of their retreating. So that's a really good thing to see with Venusaur as well. So like I said, we've looked at everything that Venusaur has to offer in terms of the kit and how you can load him out. So let's go ahead and jump into a ranked match and use Venusaur for that round of combat. So for my loadout, I'm opting for the Eos cookie because that's going to increase my health every time I score a goal, and that's going to be a really nice thing to just have a higher health threshold. The Shell Bell, again, heals based off of special attack damage dealt, so that's a really cool thing to see happen. And then the Rocky Helmet will deal a certain percentage of damage back to our opponents. I'll leave the potion on lock, but you could easily opt for an X attack or something else to help bolster some of Venusaur's benefits. I also really like using the escape button to get out of some of the hairy situations, but that does have a higher cooldown as well. Alright, so here off the start of the match, I'm going to go with the strategy that I typically opt for, and I like to go around a lot of these Apoms right off the start. And I missed the Razor Leaf there because this Pick-a-Pack came in and caused my opponents to, or that Lillipup to run away a little bit, which isn't what I was hoping for really. But as we continue to level up here, we're going to get access to the Seed Bomb. And I really like focusing down these early game opponents because of the high amount of experience that they will give to you. And I didn't quite get out of the way of the Bouffalante's charge there. He's coming back, though, and we should be able to get up to level 5 as we take on a couple of these other opponents. Let's see if we can surprise the Gossifleur that's hanging out around here. And we've got to retreat a little bit because we're in a rough spot with our health here. Let's grab one of these Lepa Berries and heal up. And our Mr. Mime is in need of some health as well. Ooh, we're in a bit of a rough spot, and we did end up falling to the snow warning there from the Alolan Ninetales, but that's okay. We'll just make our way up and assist the Crustle up here with some of this this combat. And I don't particularly like that ability off of Crustle, just because I feel like it can serve as a detriment, because at least with Mr. Mime, you can heal yourself. You can benefit yourself a little bit, because your teammate can still move through it. and we're just getting swamped by these different guys. That's one of the things that I don't necessarily like here, is the fact that Bulbasaur can have some trouble leveling up initially because he does have that reduced movement speed, which isn't always what you want to see. And let's see if we can get... the Boufflant down again. That's going to give us access to Giga Drain, which is really going to help our survivability in some of these fights. Yeah, because that just allows us to continuously top off our health throughout the fight. It has a decently lengthy cooldown, but it's nothing to really be too terribly concerned about. And if we come up here and can take on this... the Rotom that's up here with the rest of our team. Then we should be able to give ourselves a much needed boost here. Okay, now we're going to opt for the Petal Dance, and we're still managing to hit even through this wall that Crustle put up. And thankfully, we were able to get the Rotom on our standby here. He is getting walled out by our own Crustle, which isn't always something you want to see. Come on. Let's get that score in there. That's going to increase our overall health. And then let's see if we can't get away from this Snorlax, because he's not someone that we'll want to take on without the help of some backup. Okay, let's get these Petal Dance going out here. And that's the other thing that I really like about Venusaur here, is he's able to layer in considerable amounts of damage with that Petal Dance, especially to the grunt characters that don't know or don't actively run away from us. Okay. Let's see if we can't burst down this Snorlax here. He's got the heavy slam that's going on. Okay, he's using his protective barrier again. And let's just break this goalpost here. And that finally takes the Snorlax down. It took 4 of us, which isn't great. It's not something that you really want to see, but it gives us an opportunity to land a couple of scores here. Let's head down to this lower path, since we know that we can counter them there. We're currently in the lead, though you never really want to ride on that, because Zapdos can turn the tide of a fight really quickly. Let's rack up a bit more of these points down here by taking on the Combis and the Vespiquen. And see, that's what I mean with that Petal Dance. It just continues to cool down while you're using it against your opponents here. And it really just assists you in finishing out large groups of enemies, especially if they're not wise enough to give some distance in that fight. It looks like they've countered down here again. So we're going to run up to the top side here. Oh, we got it! Excellent. Let's run down. See, this is where it might be beneficial to have something like the Float Stone. Let's zip around the Combis here. And then we can score our 38 right there before that timer runs out. And it looks like we had our Talonflame help us out there a little bit in finishing out one of those opponents. Okay, we chased off the little guy there. Oh, get the Unite move off already. It's okay. We've won this match, and that's kind of one of the things that you've got to expect is going to happen with your Venusaur is he moves a lot slower, and so you're just gonna have to come to terms with the fact that you're gonna get picked on by either standalone opponents or teams of them that group up on you. But you can kind of see what I mean, that it's better to go with the Petal Dance instead of opting for the Solar Beam, because that will just allow you to continuously rack damage into the opponents instead of missing and whiffing on a harder hitting attack that comparatively has a longer cooldown because it only does that one singular burst. But we were the second highest contributing member to the team, and Mr. Mime is a really good opponent, or a really good character to have built in with your team as well, because he can discourage a lot of your opponent's options. So it's not a huge surprise that the Mr. Mime from our team was able to take the MVP for the match. But that's really what I wanted to highlight with Venusaur and how he works. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe for daily variety content, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day.